When you hear the word distributive, do you think about anything? Do you know what distribute means?
Yeah, you could give it to someone.
To give it to someone or to give it, yes. So distribution in math is the same thing. So what's going to happen is you're going to start with a number in front.
That's going to kill my head. That's cool. That's all right.
Sorry. The nice thing about this is this will be on YouTube so you can watch it later, but I know it does kind of go off a little bit. But anyways, there's an A in front of your B plus C, right? And when you distribute it, you're actually going to take this A and it's going to go to B and then to C. All right? So your answer then would be what? AB plus AC. All right. Example. So I'm going to give you 3 for you to try.
Didn't we learn this in
You should have. This should be review. Yep. This should be this section. Hopefully will feel review to you. Well, hopefully you'll change your thoughts. No, yeah, because you'll feel. Hopefully you'll feel successful. Like I hope. I'm gonna. My goal is to make you feel successful. Okay. So that's why I say a thought, because I'm going to try to make you feel successful. So basically, remember, all you're going to do is you're going to take that 4 and you're going to multiply it by your x, giving you 4x, and then that 4 to the 2, and that will be your plus 8. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a second, and I want you to try 2 and 3. And when you distribute this negative, you're going to distribute this whole thing, negative 3. All right. So, what is our first one? 8y minus 80. This one we have here, what's this answer?
Negative 3y minus 12.
Very good, minus 12. That's called your distribution property. Then we use distribution property backwards to do something that's called factor. So you are looking Oh,
I don't know.
You're right. Looking, You're looking for, and I will do that. I'll tell you I'm dyslexic, so there'll be times that I'll say looking and I'll do the other. But so you're looking for the GCF, the greatest common factor of each term. Right? So what's in common? So, yep, GCF, greatest common factor, basically, what's in common with each term? Example. What's up? I still didn't hear you.
Something's really slow on it.
Oh, the lag.
So it's lagging.
Well, I'm supposed to get a new tower, so maybe when I get the new tower, maybe it'll help. So we'll see.
I think it's that thing.
You think it's this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, might be. I bought a cheaper one, so it might be that thing. But it's actually better. This one is better than an overhead, and this I can put it on YouTube and stuff like that. So that's why I like it. So, all right. So we have here the fourth one is going to be 9x plus 27y. So you have to ask yourself, what is in common with this term that is with this term?
The number.
which is the number 9, right? So 9 is in common with both of them. So you put the 9 out front, and you ask yourself, what do I multiply by 9 to get this back? So what's left here is an x, plus 27 divided by 9 is 3. So we have 3y. Now, you have to be able to always get this product back. So if I multiply this back, I'm going to have this. So 9 times x gives me 9x. 9 times 3 gives me 27, and then I had my y. So I got that result back. If I had 3cx minus 3c. 3c is in common because they both have a 3 and they both have a c. So we're going to pull a 3c out front. Put a parenthesis, and then you ask yourself, what is left? And it's going to be x. And we have to ask yourself, what can I multiply 3c by to give me negative 3c? So it would be a negative 1. All right. The next thing, this section has a lot of things what it's called because this is the review section. The next thing is called collecting like terms. Is it a C? What? Is there a question? Okay. So collecting like terms. So the question to you is, what do you think a like term is? Terms that are like, it's the same variable. If I say x and I have x squared, are they alike? No. So it has to be the same variable and the same exponent. So a like term is the same.
Can't you add like terms?
Yep, and this book calls it collecting, but it's the same as adding like terms. But I have to teach you the terms that they're going to use. But yep, so this is the same as adding like terms.
They really want you to do it word for word out of the book?
No, but what's going to happen, I don't have to do it word for word, but if you get a test and it says collecting like terms, I want to make sure you know those terms. So like after I'm using this, I will always say add like terms. But for now, when you're doing this, I want it so you know, so when you get that test, that you won't be what do you mean by collecting like terms? Because I've never called it that until I started teaching in this class. I've always called add like terms or combining like terms or something to that, but that's what they call it. So I just want to make sure you guys don't get to it and go, I've never heard of that. All right, so like terms, remember, are same variable. And same exponent. And remember, what you're doing is you're adding the coefficients. Does everybody know what a coefficient is? If I asked you right here, what is the coefficient of 9x? What is the coefficient? 9. The coefficient of 27y is 27. So the coefficient is just the number in front of the variable. So we have here 6, our example is x minus 3x. So you have, what is in front of this x if there's nothing there? It's an understood 1. So we have 1 minus 3, which is a negative 2. And then we have our x. Alright, this one, I'm going to read you it and then I'm going to give you a second to try it. Number 7, the problem is 2x plus 3y minus 5x minus 2y. So I want you to try to combine your like terms. Alright, so the first thing you're doing is you have your x's here. You always go alphabetical, so we're going to do our x's. So we have 2x and we have a minus 5x. So 2 minus 5 is plus negative 3. So we have negative 3x. And then we have 3y and a minus 2y. So we have 3 minus 2 gives me 1. So we have just 1y. Now, if you have 1 in front of the y, that is fine, but that's understood if you leave it like that. Questions? And if any time I go too fast, make sure you let me know, so, or if you didn't catch something. Alright. And the other thing is this will be on YouTube, so you can always rewatch it if you need to. And the link will be on my page. So number 8, I think I have to teach you something. All right, then we have here the next thing that we're talking about, and we're gonna wait on that 8, I guess. D, the next thing that they talk about is additive inverse. Additive inverse is where you have a plus a negative a will give you 0. Because remember, inverse is its opposite. So if you have a, the inverse would be your negative a. And how they get the inverse of this, so how do you think you get the inverse of a number? You multiply by a negative 1. Is very good. So to get the inverse of a number, multiply by your negative 1. So now I can do my 8. So we have negative 9y. So we start with our negative 9y, and to find its inverse, we multiply by that negative 1. So what is the inverse of the negative 9y? 9y, because negative and negative make a positive. Alright, so number 9. If I start with 3x minus 2y plus 4, to find its inverse, I'd multiply it all by what? So we're going to multiply still by that negative 1 to find its inverse. You always multiply by that negative 1. On tonight's assignment, they'll have that negative 1 there. But just so you know, that's what they're doing, is finding the inverse. So now what property, what is that called when I have to go through and distribute? Yeah, so distributive. So we're going to distribute that negative 1. So class, say it with me. What's my first one? It's negative 3x plus 2y minus 4. Very good. And the last thing of this section is E, and it is called simplifying expressions. So in this section, a lot of times what you'll have to do is you'll have to first distribute. and then collect like terms. And hopefully you all know that you have to collect like terms alphabetically. So our examples, we only got 2 more. So here's 10 is 6x minus the quantity, so you have a parenthesis, 4x plus 2. So what's my first step? I have to distribute the negative 1. Yep, so I have to distribute that negative. So I'm going to distribute the negative. So that means that I'm going to bring down that 6x, and I'm going to distribute that negative. So I have a negative 4x and minus 2. And then when we simplify, we want to collect like terms.
Negative.
So I have
2x minus 2.
So you have 6x minus 4x gives me a 2x, and a minus 2 is right. I'm going to give you the problem for 11, and then I'm going to give you a second for you to try it. So we have x minus 5, and then in the parentheses x plus y. Now when you distribute, you are going to be distributing that whole negative 5, but you bring down that x first and then distribute. So I'm going to give you a second to try to solve this problem, to simplify this expression. Alright, so let's walk through this last one. We have here the thing that you're going to do is you're going to take that negative 5 and you're going to distribute it to each one. So I have negative 5x. Negative 5 times y gives me a negative 5y. Then I combine my like terms. So I have x minus 5x. So we have a negative 4x. And then we have negative 5y. Questions? I'm going to be coming around while you're working. If you have any questions, make sure you feel free to ask.